BionicDance is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
From Noah. In your opinion, can one be both a conservative and an atheist? We've had that question before, but I get asked it so often that I think it's worth answering again. I think, of course, you can be a conservative and an atheist, but I think you're not making sense.
Actually, I agree, but probably not for the same reasons. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Today we're looking at a guy named Andrew Klavan, I don't know. He's an author and a screenwriter. Now, I've never heard of him before, and I keep track of a lot of things about film. He's got a few interesting things to say about the relationship between atheism and conservatism, and while I actually agree with a chunk of what he's saying, his reasons for subsequently rejecting it, not so much.
You know, really, once you follow atheist thought to its conclusion, you will come to the conclusion, if you follow it all the way, you will come to the conclusion that you essentially don't exist, that you're essentially an illusion, that everything that happens, you have no free will, everything that happens has been worked into the machine from the beginning, you can't change anything, your prayers don't change anything, your decisions don't change anything. You will have to come to that conclusion if you follow atheism down to the ground.
This part I actually agree with. Until you get down to the quantum level, which I admit I don't fully understand, the universe seems to run under unchanging, regular patterns that only seem random if you don't have sufficient data. If you throw dice using exactly the same conditions, you'll get the same results every time, and it's only our inability to recreate those conditions and our inability to accurately predict the results that allow us to use them as a source of randomness, even though the numbers we get are anything but. And so, given this unalterable pattern of the universe, the future is predetermined, and we simply lack the data to predict its conclusion. The only way to interrupt the pattern and thus grant us free will is essentially magic, the supernatural. Not necessarily divine intervention, it could be sorcery or witchcraft or something. In other words, breaking logic with illogic, an event for which there is no reliable evidence. So, yes, I think free will is an illusion. And to be honest, I don't mind, because it doesn't feel like an illusion. I'm not saying I like it, but I can live with it.
But if you believe that you were endowed by your creator with certain inalienable rights, you should have to believe in a creator just to be making sense. So yeah, of course, can you vote Republican if you're an atheist? Yeah. Can you believe in individual liberty if you're an atheist? Yes. But when you get into your late night argument with your liberal friend and it gets to be 2 o'clock in the morning, he's going to win that argument because you have not got a foundational belief that supports your conservatism.
And here is where he's not making sense at all, because neither side of the political spectrum is dependent upon free will, and unless conservatism requires religion, which I don't think it does, there are plenty of conservative positions on issues that have nothing at all to do with religion, then no, atheism does not make liberalism win automatically. But this has nothing at all to do with whether a god, a creator, actually does exist. When it gets right down to it, what this guy is arguing for is the end result of reasoning that he likes best, true or not.
And so that's why I think that it's an interesting thing to sort of follow your thoughts. I mean, this is another thing that's in my memoirs, the fact that by nature, even as a little boy, I always wanted to follow my thoughts to their conclusion. I always wanted everything to make sense down to the ground.
And for that, he has my respect. I'm not saying he's doing it well. He seems to be rejecting the conclusions he doesn't like. But at least he's attempting logic. That's more than most God believers seem to do.
And I think it's important to do because otherwise, when the con men come, and the con men are going to look like your college professors, they're going to look like the guy who hires you, they're going to look like your friends on Facebook. When those con men come and they start to pitch you their dumb ideas, you won't know why you believe what you believe. So I believe you can be a conservative and an atheist, but it's not such a good idea.
I don't think it's such a hot idea either. But I mean the conservative part. Being an atheist is actually pretty freeing, given the dogma, the ceremonies, the dietary and fashion restriction, sex and sexuality limits, and all of the other ways religion prevents people from living life to the fullest. Not believing in a god is rather nice. And given that one can come to this conclusion, as he said, simply through reasoning via the evidence, I can even justify my lack of religion logically, honestly. So until next time, fellow space travelers, don't run on automatic. Instead, please, think. Well, whoever that is, she's gotta get by us. Go get her, Sandra! Schmoozer the Schmoozerian? Good evening. As a duly designated representative of the YouTube channel BionicDance, I order you to cease any and all trolling activity and return forthwith to your website of origin or to the nearest convenient internet site. That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Sandra.
Do you believe in God?
No?
Then subscribe!
Sandra, when someone asks you if you believe in God, you say, wait, actually you got that right. Never mind.